I grew up in the Caribbean where it's actually a fashion to have a gun. Oh, mine has a diamond in it. Mine has, gold
Really?
and silver. Yeah.
I didn't
You
know.
walk with a Glock 45, 22.
And
My
it's all
cousins-
allowed and
Yeah,
legal.
yeah. And my cousins
Is it
are
legal?
legal. And like Dominican Republic, like they're with their guns in their waist, walking like it's a new shoe, like it's a Yeezy or a Jordan
Okay.
23. That's how the guns are where I'm from.
Do you want to do the welcome?
Welcome,
The hosting thing?
everybody. Welcome. 3, 2, 1, go. But what do I say?
I don't know. I didn't prepare anything for today. We're
No,
just hanging out.
because we have today we didn't prepare that much. Not that we prepare, but today we have a guest on our podcast. His name is Omal. Welcome.
Nice to meet you guys.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Of course.
Tell us something about yourself.
My name is Omal Duinkerk. I'm from the Caribbean. I was born in Dominican Republic.
That's pretty cool. Is it
Yeah.
warm in there?
Of course, it's 40 to 35 degrees Celsius. Yeah,
That's
it's
nice.
really warm every day.
Is it humid or is it just dry, nice?
Sometimes
warmness?
humid, sometimes dry. It depends.
So,
It
Are you-
depends.
are
But
you
you can't
always
really
sweaty?
bear the heat. You be sweating all the time. Most of the time you're in air conditioning inside.
That's
Yeah,
That's
people
okay.
don't get fat.
Oh, they do.
They do, of course. But you sweat a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of contrast between Slovakia and the Caribbeans, right?
or maybe Denmark and Caribbean.
That's the other side of the world. It's really far from here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you doing here in Denmark?
Right now I'm working, but the reason why I'm in Denmark is because my wife is studying business science. Sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah, long story short, just working and taking care of the bills.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you are actually hoping to go back or go away from Denmark after she's done, or
To the Caribbean.
I don't know what is the plan.
We were thinking of making some kids.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, but we don't know yet. We don't know how it looks like. We maybe stay in Denmark, have a couple of kids, running around. Or we can move to the Caribbean or the US. Most likely the US, but we don't know.
Which state?
Either Texas or California.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to live in Texas.
How are the border situation there? Like, can you just come in and out like that?
Well, if you have a EU passport, you can have a ESTA visa, and with that you can actually go into the US, but you must be COVID vaccinated.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can't
Okay.
enter.
Yeah.
I'm not vaccinated, so
Okay.
I can't enter. Yeah. Even though if I would have a religious purpose, yeah, it's pretty rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping also that they will soon cancel that thing that you need to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Because man, I've been offered to go to America now twice, and I declined because I'm also not vaccinated.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they change it. If they don't, then with a new president, and a year from now.
It was such a big contrast during like the lockdowns and stuff, because I would like, come on, we follow on social media and everything, and we see like the completely like strict rules that they had in the US, but also especially in Australia.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
And we would just look outside the window here in Denmark, and everyone was like no mask, everyone was outside enjoying the sun and stuff,
Yeah.
and everyone there was like completely chaos, Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it was
also-
mad.
It's very different like mindset in here in Denmark. I actually really like it. First, like when the pandemic came first, I was actually super scared because everybody else were panicking, but not Denmark. So I was like, why are you not panicking? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, because I was checking out in Slovakia, people already wore masks and all that. And here, nobody even cared.
No.
And I was like going to Lidl, buying some groceries with a mask already, and nobody even like cared. So I was a bit worried in the beginning, but then I realized like, whoa, this is actually so much better the way Denmark has managed it.
Yeah, I guess there was a time they were like kind of like taking quite serious, because the first they said like, oh, masks, they don't really help, and then afterwards they're like, actually masks really help you and you need to use it, and everyone was started to like be a little tight about it. And this was like kind of like around the winter and stuff, and there was this one sunny day everyone is out, so people want to follow the rules and stay tight with that until there's a sunny day, and then everyone's out again. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, but I mean, it's been a long time. Like
no, it's good.
It's weird to even like think about it right now, right? Because like 2 years ago, everything was just closed, and now like I don't. It's not something I think about.
No,
right?
I'm so grateful for that. It's so nice not to like to be able to just go wherever you want.
I mean, I got COVID. You wanna know how I got COVID?
Yeah, tell us.
So basically, my wife wanted me to get COVID because you are immune for about 6 months, and you don't need to have a test. And in my job, you have to have a test like every single day in order for you to work, to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
And she had a friend, and her friend had a COVID.
Grow your brand with digital ad campaigns and social media content. We are a creative team that specializes on video communication, brand strategy, and productions. Sign up for a free business checkup meeting and speak to us for valuable advice and for the opportunity to partner with us.
She made her friend spit on a piece of candy. And then she
you
gave
ate
it. Yeah, she gave it to me, and then I got.
Did you know about it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I got COVID, and I stayed home for for about 2 weeks, so I could quarantine and stuff. But then for like 6 months, I could travel and do many different things without doing any test.
Yeah.
And have it in the records, because if you have the antibodies in your system, you don't have to take the vaccine per se, because and since then I haven't gotten sick with anything, not even the flu. So that was actually the best flu I've ever had.
Okay.
Yeah, would you say it was worth it to drink this spit?
It was worth it, because
would you do it again? Recommend?
Yeah
for
sure, because I was free for 6 months after, and after that, most things were lifted. But it was great. Like, I just have to show my Corona passport that I got COVID in the restaurants or even in church. I don't have to show a test, because you had to show a test everywhere. You know? And like that gave me the freedom not to go and put something in my nose that it reaches your brain and tickles it a little bit. Those long testers that you gotta like put into your nose, or like they would like. So that was super annoying for me. So
it's crazy to talk about it, because it became part of the like a daily life thing.
Yeah.
And now just to think about, it's kind of like
some things still stayed. I noticed that when people standing in the line in the shops, they usually keep distance.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I haven't noticed.
They still kept the line of social distancing in the shops. They haven't like removed it. So yeah, they keep their distance. But I think.
Okay, the only thing I noticed is like there was this guy. He was a little bit sick.
Mm.
And then usually we just like greet as normal, but this day he just gave me the elbow, the elbow dab, and then I was like, wait, what's going on? I totally forgot about that. Yeah, the people who used to do it,
Yeah, because I'm back to handshakes.
Yeah.
Or hugs.
Yeah.
Like, it's normal.
Yeah, exactly.
As it used to be.
So it's funny how things, like, we get used to one thing, and then the next thing comes, and you get used to that thing, and then like you just, I don't know, I think we behave in boxes maybe in a way,
of course.
And then when something is out of the box that comes in, it's kind of like, wait, what's that kind of thing, Yeah. But it's good to be out,
Oh, love it. It's nice. Because also, like, back, like 1 year ago now, approximately, I couldn't really travel back to, like, visit my family because of all the tests and vaccinations and all that thing. So it is nice to go home without, like, all that, or, like, even be allowed to go, and not need to quarantine, because, like, there was a time period in Slovakia. They had a rule that, like, no matter what, if you enter the country and you are staying, you need to quarantine. I'm like, okay, so I'm like, if I just bought my flight tickets to stay in Slovakia for 2 weeks, and the quarantining is like 14 days. I can basically fly there, stay in one room, close the whole time, and then fly back. So thank you very much.
I didn't know this was gonna be like for 2 years.
Yeah, no.
No,
I was like,
I thought it was gonna be faster.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a couple months, but it was 2 years. And they've been talking about other strands. Certain like strands that came out of the vaccinations as well, and like virus spread. So hopefully there's no like lockdowns like before, and we can all just share the
life.
Right.
Yeah,
share the life that we were supposed to share, and whatever happens, we deal with it as a community rather than be isolated with one another, individually. Yeah, that would be great.
4 weeks in, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a quick thing. So then I saw, like, there's some there was this airline, the stocks, they were like going super down, and I was like, you know what,
let's buy it.
I'm just gonna buy some. This is gonna be over again in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Which one was it?
I got
was it Norwegian? Oh, people were telling me like, yo, this is the time to buy Norwegian.
I bought some Norwegian airline, and it's like, bro, it's still negative to this day.
Oh, it's still negative.
Yeah, like it didn't recover.
Maybe in the future it will recover. You don't think so?
I don't know.
Because people people fly Norwegian like all the time.
Yeah,
it's
but
cheap.
Yeah, but now they are like they're owned by the government. Like they.
So they didn't really survive.
No. They had to be bought by the government.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like there's no, there's no. It's not a very like promising future.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Not many companies survived this.
Airlines, it was really bad for them.
Yeah, not many.
Also, hotels had a hard time, and all the like travel and.
Yeah.
Most small businesses got shut down too, like private owned businesses.
Yeah, it was a good time for crypto though.
Yo, I had a friend.
Yeah.
He put in, I think it was about $150,000.
No way.
Yeah, and then he
put in.
He put in.
Okay.
He tripled it, and he took it out and invested on tangibles like houses, flipping houses.
Yes.
But if he would waited 2 more weeks, he would nearly get $1 million.
No, really.
Yeah, but he took it out like like, you know, after when he tripled it, it was like 400 or 300,000.
Oh, what if he had just took out the profit?
It's still good.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah,
good that
yeah.
he's
It's
now
great.
investing in houses and
But
stuff
he
like that.
he flipped the money into houses and, like, you know,
That's-
renovate them to
That is so
to
much
rent
better.
it.
Mm.
So much safer. I would
And
say.
like, yo, if he would have waited, but there's a gamble to it,
Yeah.
because it goes up, it goes down, it goes
Yeah.
up, it goes down.
Yeah.
I've seen like some of my wife and I stock like go super high
Mm,
and then super low.
mm,
And when it goes high, she would like sell, and when it goes low, she buys.
mm.
And but yeah, it could easily go down to nothing again. You don't know, and then you lose all of it.
Yeah,
It's a gamble.
Yeah.
it definitely is.
Yeah, I took my lesson. I'm just gonna stay out of it.
Yeah, I mean it's a gamble, and you have to know how to play the game
mm,
in some ways, because like before we got into crypto, we had Leah's aunt, Leah's aunt's husband,
mm-hmm.
my wife's aunt's husband. He's very knowledgeable with crypto and, like, you know, with currency as a whole. And he said, at this time it's not gonna work out. At that time it's not gonna work out. This is how you're supposed to do it. You gotta also have a crypto wallet so you can protect your money so you don't get hacked, and all kinds of things that we got, you know, into our pocket before actually investing. Because if you don't have all the knowledge you can get before investing, you can easily lose your money.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. Yeah.
Yeah, crypto is not like a new thing, but it's definitely not old. It's been there for a while, but it's only like recently that it has been exploded, like completely mainstream, you know. And it's last time I checked, it was like $22 for a Bitcoin, $22,000 for a Bitcoin, and I think at the height of it was like 80,000. And it's do you guys think it's gonna go lower, or like?
Yeah, it will be, you know, and also Ethereum and all cryptos, because everybody's buying it. But the thing is, when people like lose their money and everybody get disinterested, you know, the stock market, they just buy everything, and then you can't really get into it because it's too expensive for you as a, you know, common folk. Like, you are just getting a regular salary, and then it's capitalized. And let's say, for example, if, you know, your cash flow is no longer valuable and only crypto is valuable, you basically have nothing. All the money you got in the bank worth nothing, not even a bag of bread, nothing, only crypto. And then people buy from that. And like, yeah, they can get like that because everything is being digitalized. So you have to be careful, because even though you invest in crypto or currency, it's always good, because if it goes low or high, but in the era we are today, it's going to be digital currency. And if you have digital currency and they change to digital currency, you have something to fall onto, rather than, oh, I don't have anything and I've lost everything. Never really have your money in the bank without thinking of a gamble of investment, because you can always lose all of it, even though it's technically saved in your bank account, but it's not really with the era we're living in.
Have you guys heard that thing about China and the thing with the banks and stuff?
What exactly?
There was like a bunch of people. They had like all their savings, their lifetime savings in banks, and they cannot take it out. Like, the bank literally don't have their money anymore.
Because bank lost it, or because they were not behaving as China wants?
No.
So then they
It's
were-
the banks. They just don't have the money anymore.
Okay.
You know, because the business model of banks is not just to keep your money on safes. You know, they take that money and they invest, and they send out loans and stuff like that. You know, so they were sending out loans of money they didn't have yet, And then they've been doing that for years, until like at some point the system just crashed. I think I saw a video about it, and then people couldn't take their money out anymore because the banks they didn't have it anymore, So that's kind of insane, right? That you think that you think that your money's safe there, but then
It's not.
it's just.
I mean, if the bank that you have your money in is like a national bank, or like backed by a government, then I think it's a bit more safe than just, or at least that's my understanding. That like because what I understand back in Slovakia is that there are banks that are like backed up by government of Slovakia. So if something goes down, then the government kind of like repays the people that were like done wrong, or what do you call it? Like they were having some kind of a trouble. So then from taxes, it will be paid back to them in a way.
But
so I don't know.
That's the irony of it too, because once something is backed up by the government or owned by the government, the value is a lot, different. Like if you look at crypto, as we were talking about, it's not owned by the government, and you see the stock how high it has been, and how high it could be or lose its value, but it's for the community, it's for the public, and if you also look into Elon Musk, he's not owned by the government or anything. Independent, most independent, things that goes into the high stakes, like the value of it can be insane. But once the government owns it, is of course a lot more safe. But the value kind of like diminishes. I think.
Yeah, no, I agree there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some governments that are like working on having like a crypto
Yes.
thing. Do you know which ones?
Yes. It's just like NFTs.
NFT, really?
Like once a new trend comes, the government wants a piece of it. I think all of them are working on it. That's what I was saying with digital currency.
Yeah, but wait,
crypto.
NFT is done, right?
Nah.
I think it is.
Right, like it's completely.
As far as I'm observing it, it's kind of like
to the masses that couldn't buy an NFT is done, but there is significant art within NFTs that are extremely expensive still. Not for like people that are starting up a ton of different NFTs like crypto, but the originals per se are still pretty pricey. Not like every time something starts up, it gets oversaturated, and then the value is gone. But what has started, like the originals, stay with its value. I look up like the original like NFTs that started up are still really expensive, very expensive, but not the new stuff that it's just so overly saturated that most of the masses are like, oh, NFT is over.
And I don't think it's because it was oversaturated. I just think that like people are not buying anymore for that crazy prices, So like people just realize, like this is not a real thing. People are putting so much money on something that is just not real.
I think it's just that not everybody's rich.
No, but I mean, there was this guy who bought one NFT for like millions of dollars, and then he put out to sell it, and no one wanted to pay like the biggest bid was like $100. So basically he paid so much for something that wasn't, at the end of the day, the market decides the value, and.
Do you know that most of the NFTs are being bought for millions of dollars to put into the Metaverse?
Or you need to speak with the microphone.
Yeah, sorry. Do you know the metaverse they're talking about? They're buying so much NFTs and virtual.
The metaverse made by Facebook.
Yeah,
Okay.
like they're buying out most NFTs and so many different things to put into the metaverse, and virtual mansions and all that stuff. Like
I don't really get
for
it.
millions of dollars.
I don't get it.
Like just digital, visual things that you just see it in the metaverse. When
I don't think I can understand that, to be honest.
it's
I
like
mean, I understand the principles, but I don't think that like people cannot live in metaverse. They need food. They need real accommodation. Like physical world is still holding us back. I don't think it will.
Do you know how much Mark Zuckerberg's like net worth has been like shrinking since the
metaverse?
Yeah, since
release?
he came up with that. It's insane. He lost so many billions, you know.
No, really.
Yeah. So it's like it's
I'm
not
not
looking
aware.
good, you know. I mean, do you know anyone who has been in the metaverse?
I've heard Joe Rogan talking about them buying some property, or some of his friends buying some property in metaverse. What? It's just...
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg rents out an entire arena for a UFC night, and he's talking
I've
to
heard
the
about
president, to Dana White, to put in the UFC in the metaverse.
I've
So
heard about that.
when you go and watch a pay-per-view live, you are looking at the fight live, like as if you're there sitting next to the VIP area, watching a pay-per-view fight.
Mm.
And you're just like right in the cage, and you're like, yeah, but you're not there.
Yeah.
But you are, in the
Yeah.
sense of the metaverse.
They have those
Yeah.
glasses in
Yeah.
the face.
Do you think that this might be one of the reasons that it hasn't really been as popular? Because it has you need to have a big investment in order to type into that.
Yes.
Because those glasses, I don't even know the price, but it's
they're not cheap.
it's not like you can just open up your phone and be part of the metaverse. You need equipment,
Yes. Yeah.
But also, I think still most of the people live in a reality rather than, because of course there are some younger generation, I would say, that like game so much that they basically live in a game. But I still think the most of population of the whole world is living in like normal world.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there is so much interest in I don't know.
Well, if you look at wealth, there is 12% that is rich worldwide, and 88% that is poor. If you look at the first world countries, they're wealthy in many ways, but the second and third world countries aren't as rich. So that's a population of 88%.
Mm.
So yes, not everybody
Yeah.
are like living in the reality of social media and stuff. It's just the first world countries that are, digitalizing everything.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right.
I have a question.
Welcome to the podcast, Rafa.
Thank you. No, because it was very interesting when we were talking about investment, and it's something that also I'm getting a little bit into it, and try to also find where is the best place to invest your money. Because before we were talking about the banks, it's not very reliable to, I don't know, if you want to really invest or get the best from the money that you were putting there, or savings, or all kind of thing. So I ask you guys, what do you think? What do you think?
S&P 500.
Okay.
Yeah, for me it depends. It depends. For example, when Shaquille O'Neal invested on Microsoft when it first started, now he's like stupid rich, yeah. Or when people invested on Tesla when it first started, or when people invested on McDonald's, and the list goes on. You just have intuition of, okay, this might work out, this might not. I might lose my money. You have to be willing to have a certain amount aside to be like, if I lose this amount, I'm fine. I'm not in debt or crisis. but there's a gamble to investment, and then when it skyrockets, you are pretty well off. But if it doesn't, you lost. So it depends. Yeah, that's my intake, of course.
So it'd be like take a shot, like trust that, be a little bit.
My full on take in that is you should look onto a lot of platforms that teaches you about investments, that so you can have an understanding of your own rather than just putting your money somewhere. Like there's so much platforms on people teaching you about investment and where you should or shouldn't invest, and like have a mindset of like, okay, I know what to do, even though if I fail in the act, I forgot this Asian dude's name that is really good on like he's like Elon Musk when it comes to like crypto fit and all those type of ideas. I forgot his name. He was talking about debt, even like debt is currency. That's how currency is created.
The guy that wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad? Is
Yeah,
that the guy?
I forgot his name.
Oh, I forgot his name too.
Rich
but
Dad Poor Dad. You
yeah,
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really.
Yeah.
really
So
good.
I forgot his name, but if you look onto YouTube and stuff, and
Yeah, I think I have seen him as well in some videos.
yeah, he's really good. But like, it depends. Just learn, and then trust your gut.
That's your answer for him?
Yeah, because if I tell him, oh, invest on this specific platform, and it goes bad.
No, because what I was thinking when we started to talk about this investment and economics and all things, like came to like scripture in the Bible in my mind. The first one is those 5, I think was 5 workers, or those talents that was given to them, and they need to like they have something.
Yeah.
And they need to choose what they're gonna do. If they, and the servant, just bury, and when the master comes, we're just gonna give back. Here we go.
Right.
But it was like the bad one because he didn't
Right.
multiply what was given to him.
Right.
And then the others were like much more,
Right.
And the second one that I was thinking about was like Joseph, when he was there. Of course, the vision came to him. He saw the whole Egypt. You suffer like 7 years of fame and 7 years of prosperity. No, like first the prosperity and then the fame will come. And then how Joseph was wise, to, have the word in the spot, to tell the Pharaoh what to do, with the vision, with the talent, let's say like that, or with the provision that he had, like how to store that correctly so they will not die when the challenge time will come.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same way, like for our lives, so how to like, if we want to be strong or just go through those tough times in life, financially wise speaking, how can we learn with those examples to be wise with what is given to us,
Just want to say Robert Kiyosaki, the guy that wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Omal was talking about him.
Thank you.
Cool. We I wanted to because I've known you for some years.
Yeah.
But I know there is you have lived a very interesting life.
Yeah.
And I think in some ways very inspiring, and in other ways it's just funny. And moving also, so I think it would be nice to like maybe listen some of that, if you wanna,
I don't mind.
share something that I don't know.
Okay, so like I can just
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah,
Born
I can start from when I was born, and then the middle, and then the end.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in 1995. Yeah, so that's where I grew up with, and like nobody wanted to mess with our family because my great grandmother had 18 kids out of her womb.
So it's
Sink
all
it
one
in for
big family.
yeah, sink it in for a little bit, and then those 18 kids getting old, and most of them having 7 or 8 kids. My grandmother had 7, which my mom was involved, and then my mom left me with my grandma, and I was with her for until the age of 9, and then I came to where my mom was, which was a Dutch and French island. It was St. Martin, and from the age of 9 till about 20, I lived there, and I grew up doing drugs, going to whorehouses when I was like from the age of 13, and I was like working like probably from the age of 12 more or less, and just making my own money and doing some crazy wild stuff. Like I did some questionable things, and how to put it, my life turned around when I hit rock bottom. But I always knew God in many ways. I always went to church and read the Bible and stuff, but I never wanted to live for him. I was like, when I decide to live for him, it has to be 100%, or otherwise I don't want it, you know. And then when I reached the age of 20, it was like the time where like I reached about rock bottom. I became homeless. I slept in my car broke down. Gasoline was going into the interior of the car, and I was sleeping in gasoline. Then one of my friends told me to come to his house.
You sleeping in gasoline? What do you mean?
Like, okay, so
The fumes.
the fuel
Okay.
of the car went to the interior.
Okay.
So while I'm sleeping, I'm inhaling gasoline. You know.
Okay.
Did you
So,
get high out of it?
Probably. That's how I managed to sleep. but yeah, and then long story short, you know, I left everything, and you know, God spoke to me, you know, to leave everything. I couldn't tell anybody, you know. After a while, I got baptized.
How did that happen? Like,
Yeah,
what is that?
From detail to detail. Okay. Yes, that is it's insane. So basically, my sister, she was going through some things. She was able to see the spirit realm, so she was seeing physical demons in the spirit realm. So she went crazy because she's never experienced that, and for people to experience that is really, really intense. So she was diagnosed medically insane because, you know, in the world today, most doctors, they don't really believe in the spiritual realm, where there's demons, there's all sorts of things. So we sent her to clinical help, but before that, what happened was, when I was homeless, she was just going through so much pain, so much hurt, you know, and like she was involved with a drug dealer, and this drug dealer even threatened my life, and I had a gun walking with me, a 45 all the time, and I was thinking, how am I gonna shoot this dude? That was my thought. I have a gun, and I'm walking with this gun everywhere, and I'm like, I'm gonna just snuck up and put one bullet on him and stuff. But when I went to get bullets from another friend, because I had a lot of different connections, you know, this guy actually told me like, oh, your gun is jammed, so if I would shoot, the bullet would reverse, it would hit my hand or my face. I'm like, what? So it started to make me think, like, you know, 1 in a million, that why would, you know, the gun have that kind of issue? So I just gave it back to where I got it from, and I started to think about God, and I knew a lot of people from church, and I also had a girlfriend that was part of a church. It was a apostolic Pentecostal, you know, with the fivefold ministry and so forth, Holy Spirit and all that good stuff. And then I went to that church and asked them to pray for my sister and stuff, you know. And she was gone, and my mom she saw me like really broken, and then she saw me. I got a job, and like she told me to come back to the house and stuff, and I went back. I started going to church, and then I got baptized in water. I had nobody there, just my girlfriend and the pastor and another leader. And then I started to like fast like a madman. I was not going out anywhere. I was barely eating, and I was just praying. I locked myself in the room almost every day, and I just go to work, come home, and just lock myself and just pray and just talk to God. And then one day I got electrified, speaking in tongues, and I was literally feeling like electricity all over my hands. And I was praying for people in my job, and they were getting healed, you know. And then God spoke to me and said to never look back. I didn't understand what that meant. And then afterwards, he gave me the idea to leave Samartan, but I couldn't tell anybody, because then they would also think I'm insane like my sister now, you know.
What do you mean? Why would they think you're insane?
Because it's spiritual. Like, what do you mean God spoke to you to leave everything? You have a job, you have a good salary and all that. Like, what do you mean? So I didn't know where I should go, and then he showed me, like, you know, I got directed on YouTube to watch different things, and then there was this ministry that like I got intrigued about, and then God spoke to me to go to this ministry, and it was in Aalborg. That's where you were at. But I didn't apply. You know the story. I didn't apply to get into the school. I didn't message, nothing. I just have to go there. I quit my job, bought the ticket. I couldn't tell my family. I told them after the fact. I thought I was going to be homeless. I thought like I was going to maybe die in the cold, because I've never been in the cold in my life. You know? And then when I arrived, I had the address from the place in a piece of paper. And all I know about this individual place, you know, it's from online. I just wrote it down. Gave it to a taxi driver after I got out of Aalborg Airport. And the taxi driver drove me directly to the address. When I go to the address, I knock on the door. I'm a disciple of Jesus, you know. And then they're like, what? So then they take me inside, and then I share them my story, and then they gave me a free apartment, free food, free school, free everything. And then I became part of the staff team, and we started traveling together, and like the rest is history. Yeah.
It's kind of insane. Like, what do you like? What goes through your mind now? Like after everything, and you think about like.
I look back all the time. Like I'm like.
Because you need to be in a very specific mind space to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna sell everything, buy a ticket to this place that I've never
been to, never heard of.
Across the ocean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna knock on the door and see what happens.
24 hours traveling.
Okay.
In the air.
Would you do that again?
With the maturity I have now, I don't know. Because it's so different. I would have to like get confirmation from like this prophet, that pastor, this person, but I had no confirmation from nobody. It was just me and God, you know. And I was just very into, you know, God's voice, and like very specific, like a little kid, you know. Now I test everything, but I think I would if I know, of course, it's God 100%. Now that
but that's the thing. If we know it's a God 100%, we all gonna do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's an atheist.
Yeah.
If he knows a God 100%, he's gonna do whatever it says.
Yes.
You know? But that's the thing about faith, you know.
Yes.
And that's the thing about your mindset back then.
Yes.
You know, that he was like, of course, and if you know it's God 100%, yes. But what if it's not?
I would just leave, and God just show me, and then like on the way, like I did a lot of different travels, a lot of different things, and I've seen some things that like you know, sometimes I look back at it and I just get shocked, in awe, like so many stories, so many things, you know. Like one of them would be like when I went to Mexico.
Yeah.
That was insane. I don't know if you ever heard about David Hogan.
I do.
Yeah.
I did.
Let me tell you a crazy story.
Tell me a crazy story. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a friend of mine. His name is Kaspars, and me and him listened to David Hogan. David Hogan would fast 40 days without water or food. He would see people raised from the dead and stuff. So we gotta meet this dude because we're men of actions. Like we want to like. So he was preaching one time in Holland, and then Casper and I were in Denmark, and we were like, we gotta go. Let's go and meet him and see if we can get an invitation and see how he does what he does in Mexico. So we took, these huge green bus that you take that would bring you across Europe.
Is it the Flixbus?
Flexbus, yes, that's the name of it, Flexbus. We took a Flexbus all the way to Holland. We had no money. We just had the ticket to go. We were like probably gonna end up in the street, sleep in the street. So we go to the first meeting, and it was a mega church in Holland. I don't remember the name of that church. It was such a long time ago now. But we're listening to him, and he's talking about, his life. He went through a lot, and he was, preaching the gospel, getting beat up, and being like nearly, close to death. And then he prays for everybody, the whole congregation. There's like over 400 people. And with me and Cas were like, how are we going to get to talk to him? So we try to talk to him, try to cut through the people when he's praying to talk to him and see if we can get an invitation. And he only prayed for us very shortly, but we didn't get to talk to him. So then we're like, okay, well, what are we going to do? And we're just there. And then a woman comes to Casper and I, and she says, hey, the Holy Spirit told me that I have to house you guys. And we're like, okay. Then she takes us to her house. Her house, her husband, he is the tech guy.
Of the church.
Of not the church, but the movement that is bringing David Hogan to different areas in Holland. So he's going to be in every event that David Hogan is going to be in. And he's going to bring us to all those events for free.
Nice.
Yeah. So we were with him for a week. And everywhere David Hogan was preaching, he would see us. And then he's like in the third session, he was like, there's some really crazy people out here that are on fire for God. And they're going to get some information. And we knew it was us, because he started to recognize our face, and every time we're trying to get an invitation from him. And then he came, he talked to us. He said, this is the ministry. Now you're going to use my name to send this specific person an email. They will write back to you, and they will show you how to get to Mexico, where I live. And I will be there for the entire 2 weeks that you're going to be there. I was like,
let's go.
Yeah. And it was awesome, because it didn't end there. We were there and we're like, okay, but we're going to get stuck in Holland. A guy came to us, and we're just as spectators. We're just sitting down, and we're just trying to enjoy time. A guy comes to us and he said, hey, God spoke to me yesterday to take money out of my bank and put it in my pocket, and then he will show me who to give it to. It's to you guys. He gave us a couple €100. And we're like, all right, we got money to move on, right? Let's go. And then we went to the UK. We sent the emails, and then they send us an email back within 3 months' time. You can go to Mexico, to this specific place. It was in Aztec in India. It's like an Indian territory where it's just mountains below 0 degrees Celsius.
Wait,
in Mexico.
Indian territory in Mexico.
It's like Indians, not from India, but
but
native,
native
Indians.
Okay.
Whereas in Aztec India.
Okay.
That's the name of it, in literal Indians, from natives from America.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're like, all right, we're gonna go there, and they warned us that our life would be on the line.
Okay.
So I'm like, let's go. I'm gonna die for Jesus. Why not? Yeah, right. So then we go to the UK, and we had Kaspar and I, we held an event, and like we preached and baptized many people and so forth. And there was something that came across that he couldn't come. He was disappointed and stuff, but I'm gonna go. So I bought the ticket, and when I arrived, there was a guy in the airport with a truck waiting for me. And then he's like, as soon as I got him, he's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Hi." He said, "I have to take you to a hotel because we cannot drive in the night. We get robbed and killed." I was like, "That's the greeting." Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So we go to this hotel and we stay there. We sleep overnight. In the morning, wake up early, like around 6, to get ready and to leave, right? He drives me directly to, David Hogan's house. David Hogan is there, At that time, I'm engaged, you know what I mean? And like...
So you are already worried? Like,
yeah, I had a reason to live.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, but I did it. And basically, every day, David Hogan would be like, you're gonna die either here or where we're going. Are you ready? And every day I'll be like, yeah. And it was very, very difficult. Like, you would pray, but you have to go to bed a certain time, because if you don't, like, you get robbed or killed. There is cartel wars. You can't get out at a certain time. You can't do things a certain time. When you go to church, you can't do anything, just worship Jesus, because there are cartels around, and they would shoot you if you were doing business or any form of business in the church. The church is not like what you see here. You see like just a tent and then dirt, because they don't have money. They can't really afford, very much. They don't have a fridge. They kill an animal and cook it right in front of you. Everything. And when you have church, it's not a couple hours, it's a whole day. And then you sleep in the floor, because you cannot go anywhere unless, you're safe. And you're not safe in the night. So you would sleep in a sleeping bag in the dirt, or somewhere comfortable below 0 degrees. And you just gotta stay in the same spot. If you move an inch while you're sleeping, you get cold again. So you know what I'm talking about, where you have to stay in one spot to stay warm. Right? So then we wake up and like we pray for people and stuff. And then one highlight, like I was with David Hogan himself in the truck, and he's telling me how God used him. And he had a dirt bike. He used to, when he was younger, he would ride a dirt bike and go around preaching the gospel. And then one time there was a gang, and their gang name was Gorillas. So the gang leaders came, and they were like, behind him to kill him. And because he preaches the gospel, and it was like, destroying their business, because they want to keep the people drugged up so they can buy more drugs and all that. And once they meet Jesus, they don't want to like use drugs no more. So then he's in this dirt bike, and then one day he just went on a cliff, and then this cliff has a dead end, and then he went into the air. And then he's looking down, and when he looks down, the dead end is so far that he's just literally gonna die once he lands. God teleport him in the air into a street. And when he tells me that, and I've never hear anything like that he ever said on YouTube or in his preachings. He's being personable. Like, he's talking to me with things that he. Yeah. So I was like, what? And then while he's saying that, we got stopped by the military. He says to me, "You don't know if it's the military or if it's cartels, because cartels kill the military and put on the uniform."
Yeah.
So we're coming out, while he's telling me that story, we're coming out of his truck. And then the military, I speak Spanish, so they're talking in Spanish to us. Hands in the air. We're like, hands in the air, and like, "What are you doing here?" And I could lie and say I'm a tourist. I'm just spending my money in Mexico. But I was like, I'm a missionary. I came because of Jesus. And David Hogan is like, "Jesus sent me here more than 45 years ago," in Spanish, And they're searching us, checking our passport and checking our information. And then, you know what the military says to us?
No.
It was a test. You can go. I was like sweating and like, I was like, what?
Oh, because you didn't know if they were like from the cartel.
You don't know if they're from the cartel. You don't know if
And if they are from the cartel, they don't want people talking about Jesus.
No,
Okay.
it's and also there are cartels that aren't cartels, that are believers protecting believers from cartel. It's war. It's like it's war in every end.
Okay.
And then he was telling me about, and then after when we reached home, he was telling me about a church that we were gonna go to. This church, people are dying all the time, and choppers even go to that area, and they just like light up the whole place and kill everybody sometimes. And then like people just come up again, like, you know, in the specific area. And like for you to go, you have to be directed by a car that is known by everybody in that area. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, we're going to that church. So we're going to that church, right? And when we reach, right before we enter the city area, it's like very poor, but it's not city-like at all. You see these torn up, you know, houses and everything. This little red car is in front, and then two big vans of you know, with people from other, like there was other people that were invited from other parts of the world. Two vans behind, in front of a little small looking red car, and everybody knows the car, so they wouldn't shoot us or anything. Yeah. So okay, they're with the car. Direct us to the church. There's cartels with guns everywhere. If you do anything, they will shoot you. You know.
What do you mean anything?
Like if you preach anything other than Jesus, you're dead.
Anything other than Jesus?
Other than Jesus, you're dead. If you're talking about politics, if you're talking about certain things that you are bringing your agenda, you know, to create some form of business, they shoot. And David Hohen told me there was once a shooting in there that most people dead, and then Jesus rose them from the dead that same time. Like, you know, I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, just be ready.
Just be ready.
So when I reached there, you know, like they're making food and like, you know, preparing things where everybody's eating. And David Hogan's son, he came to me and he's like, hey, you're preaching. Keep us alive. I started literally sweating. You know when you get like a ton of sweat and like under your armpit when you're nervous? my like they see it, like I'm dripping, but I guess they're okay with dying, you know what I mean? I was like, oh man, I was melting, bro. I was melting.
What did you preach about?
I started praying. I started praying and talking to God, like, God, what do you want me to say? Because you're in that place of pressure, fear, anxiety. Like, you could say anything that can get the whole congregation dead, basically. So what can you say that won't upset the cartels? Someone that is new doesn't understand the culture. I don't know anything within putting words together in Spanish. I'm going to preach in Spanish. So God spoke to me and he's like...
Is it harder for you to preach in Spanish?
No. But it's a lot easier for me to put words together in English for like when it comes to preaching, because when I came into, you know, like when I came into Christ and preaching, most of it is always in English. So God spoke to me and he said to me, talk to the cartels about my love. So I talked to the cartels about what? Directly? I was like, what? I gotta do that? I thought I was gonna be really talking about like, you know, something nice to the congregation. So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna die hard. So then afterwards they passed me the mic and I just started to talk about, you know, my life and telling them, you know, the cartels like about the love of God, and like being personable with them straight on, and I'm sweating and I'm like just doing it. And then when I was done, they felt it, because I'm a foreigner speaking in Spanish, coming to them and talking to them that, Jesus is for them, Jesus is with them. The love of God can change who they are in their choices and everything. Most of them came to the front, asked me to pray for them. Dangerous people. Their wives came. There was this witch that came to the front. We started praying for her. She started spinning and crawling and yelling, and she got set free. A lot of them were crying, and it was beautiful. And like, I managed to leave alive, and I was like, you can do anything, after such experience, you can do anything. And that's just one of them. I've experienced things that it would be difficult for people to believe unless they themselves experience it as well. So that's one of the craziest stories. One of. Yeah.
Is that like your benchmark point in life where you judge if something's hard or not? Like if say, hey, you gotta do this now, and you're like, I kind of don't want to. I know it's gonna be uncomfortable, but it wasn't like that. I can do it.
Yeah. Like after experiencing such things that I experienced, like I come from work tired, and there's the dirty dishes. I do them. I'm like, I just gotta think back on the things that I experienced, and I'm like,
there's no one with guns. They want to shoot me. Okay, this is pretty
like,
easy.
this is nothing. And then like your neighbors complaining that they gotta wash the dishes when they come home. You haven't experienced certain things of the caliber that I've seen. Like, so that's super easy.
Hey, one thing that I've heard people talking about, I think maybe it was David Hogan or someone who had been with him, that like in these villages, the way the culture in regards to food is very different.
Very different.
In the way we consume food in the West.
Yes.
What do you mean? How
can you tell like what is
it? So when you are having feast with the Indians, you don't throw nothing. Everything is gonna be cooked. The only thing that is thrown out is the feces, but everything else is gonna be cooked, and something is gonna be made out of it, because you don't know when your next meal is gonna be. You don't know. You don't know when you're gonna get a piece of meat again. You don't know. You don't have that privilege. And most of the time for them to actually get meat is if they're doing a festival where everybody is putting a little bit of money.
So even the blood they consume?
Yeah, even the blood. They make blood mole, which is a blood soup. Yeah. And also like...
have you tried it?
Oh, no.
No.
I was glad where David Hogan was, like, it got reformed, because he shared with me that like there was a whole village that would eat blood soup, and he got offered blood soup, but he had it because if you don't, you disrespect them. But then when like most of them got saved, the Holy Spirit convict them not to have blood, and then like that's how it got reformed. But you have to do certain things. If they would have served me blood, I would have it because of not disrespecting them, and but most of them were believers already. The crazy thing though that I experienced is you can't do this in Aztec India. Like you can't shake men or women's hands. You can't hug them because they think you want to have sex with them.
Even with a handshake?
Even with a handshake.
Okay.
Even with men?
Yes. So the only thing
how do you greet each other?
Like this. That's it. Yeah, that's it. You just tap and you're done. Women, even if they're married, and single women in one side of the congregation, and then men, and the other side of the congregation, married or not, they're completely split. Like, it's so strict, and you're a dead man, even if you're a believer, if you take some woman's virginity without, getting married. And it's very difficult for you to actually create like a party or whatever when it comes to marriage. You can't even afford it. You just go and do paperwork, and you get blessed and you're married. It's very difficult to have, luxury in such a poor area. But the culture, I've been through, like, culture shock, because I was hugging the old women, the old men, the young kids, everybody shocked, looking at me like, and then David Hogan's team, they looked at me and he's like, no, come. They pulled me aside and explained to me the culture, and then I was like, no wonder they looked at me like shocked, like he wants to have sex with me. Yeah. What?
This dude is desperate. He's shooting his shot to us.
Everybody's gonna get it.
He's even engaged.
Yeah. So I was like, no wonder they looked at me like surprised, like with awe. I was like, oh, and I was like, hi, shaking, like just tapping. After that,
can you do it with him? Is it like
it's like this? That's it.
I want to try, Prophet.
It's just that's it. And then when you pray for the women, you can't really touch them. Yeah, that's a no. The thing is, like, sex trafficking is a huge thing in Mexico, and there's a lot of darkness.
Is that why?
Yeah, you can easily pass as a believer and do a lot of bad things. You can easily take women and put them into sex trafficking, or put men into the cartel. So you gotta be careful. And I don't know if that's why. I don't know, but the certain cultures, like, they just do certain things. But my guess is, like, they want to be very cautious of sin. Mm-hmm. And very cautious of the cartel and the darkness and all that. Mm-hmm. The trust is not that, and in order for you to have a meeting with the believers, mm-hmm. with the leaders, you must have to have at least more than 2 dead raisins personally. Like, you've had to raise the dead yourself in order to be, like, in a serious meeting with the leaders, like in the office side.
Bro, that's a tough CV.
Yeah, that's a tough CV, man.
How do you prove it?
Huh?
How do you prove it?
That you've raised the dead?
Yeah, like, because you don't have
witnesses.
Okay, so there must be some.
Do you know how many bodies are in the floor in Mexico every day?
No, really.
Yeah, and there's no ambulance to take the bodies.
Really?
There's nothing. Like, the family have to dig a hole and bury them. Here is the system in Europe is so different. You really can't practice to pray for the dead because they take your family's body, cremate them immediately or put them on hold. Not in Mexico. You don't. There's no ambulance like that to come to the area and take the dead body. No. It's the family is gonna deal with that. They buried that body, and they don't have money whatsoever to have anything big. So, like, yeah, you practice on dead bodies all the time to pray for the dead and stuff. They would have 20 hours praying for a body and stuff.
Have you tried that?
No. I haven't tried. I've prayed for people that have been in like so sick they're gonna die. For example, in Germany, I prayed for a woman that had cancer, and she was in a deathbed, like she was gonna die. Mm. And I was with Kaspar also, and we fasted and didn't eat anything. We just prayed in the room, came down, prayed for her, and then her husband also told us that he had a metal heart placement in his heart, like it was a very like hardcore steel to keep him alive. We prayed for both for 2 days straight. We left 2 weeks later, he messaged us. He said that the metal was gone out of his heart, and the cancer of the lady stopped, and it stopped growing. It just continued on shrinking. But we didn't know that was gonna happen. Like nothing happened while we were praying for them for 2 days straight. You know, but I haven't like. Probably if I would stay more than 2 weeks in Mexico, I would have practiced because David Hogan, he has raised more than 50 people from the dead, but he has prayed for more than 1,000. So he's still trying to get there where he would see 100%. So
That's crazy.
I mean, even if it's just like 0.0001%, I think it's worth it, right?
Of course.
To be able to like.
As a whole, more than 700 documented dead raisins, the entire ministry.
Sorry, one more time.
More than 700 dead people rose from the dead, like with the entire, you know,
the
ministry.
crew of the ministry.
The
within
the Hogan gang.
Yeah, within the span of 45 years.
The zombies.
The zombies.
That's crazy.
Yeah, insane.
Have you met a zombie?
A zombie?
We met a person that rose from.
Well, I am a zombie when I wake up for like an hour or two, but I haven't. Someone that
That'd
has.
be super cool to
You
talk
mean
with
someone that has died and come back?
Yeah.
David Hogan died twice.
Really?
Yeah, in different occasions, and came back from the dead.
How long was he there?
Once he was dead for almost an entire day. He told me all of his organs just shut down. Witchcraft.
Can he remember that he was in
I asked.
heaven or
He was
something?
just blacked out. Nothing. He could see nothing. And then he came back to life. Both times. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insane. I also met the Heavenly Man. Do you know, Brother Ewan?
Maybe I've heard about.
He's an Asian dude. He has a book.
It was a guy who was in prison, was tortured and stuff.
The guy that escaped from.
Yes.
From somewhere from Asia.
And he
Yeah.
flew with a German passport to Germany, and it wasn't his passport, but he went through.
I've heard
wasn't
about
even a
him,
picture.
but I haven't read any of his.
This dude is also really crazy. I was in his house in Germany, and so cool. But like, yeah, I can sit here and tell you like stories for days.
Please.
For days, man, and like sometimes it can like you know, sometimes make you like look at the world and you're like super bored because nothing compares to God. What God offers you and shows you is it's so different. It's like you're not impressed after like experiencing so many things. You're not impressed by much things, especially having an everyday life. Now that I'm just working from Monday to Friday and I'm just home, I still experience certain miraculous things, but not in the same caliber as when I was doing ministry from, you know, country to country. You know, totally different.
Do you miss it?
Of course, everything is just boring. I love my wife and I love my life in many ways, but it's not like you know, your brain is not as like challenge when you live a normal life. Like your brain is like cannot comprehend faith, cannot comprehend miracles like that, you know. But like, man, I think of course I really do, but I think God is like teaching me responsibility, stability, and all these things for something greater later down. I really don't know, but I've learned patience in this journey. Yeah.
But don't you think like the Omal back then was like desiring what you have right now? You know, more stability, more stuff.
Yeah. because I never grew up with like you
Mhm.
know stability and like you know something tangible.
Mhm.
So now that I have it, it's awesome. It's great.
Mhm.
It's just like I'm all like I love action,
Mhm.
but like I really needed this, 100%, 100%. Sometimes I look back and I just get like you know memory lane, and just
Mhm.
have craziest flashbacks, you know.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've experienced like I can tell you another story.
Tell me, please.
This one is mad. We're gonna do a seminar for 3 days. It was Matthias
Mhm.
Jensen,
Mhm.
Kaspars, Daniel Nick.
Yeah, then yeah.
It was David Huber. I don't think you ever met David Huber.
No, maybe not. No.
Do you remember Matti and Daga? Mateos?
No.
Yeah, it was a group of us, and we got hosted in a hostel, right? Hungary. We're gonna do a seminar where we talk about the Bible, we talk about baptism, we talk about the Holy Spirit, and we pray for people. So we go to this event, and I'm gonna preach, and Matthias and Casper is gonna preach. And when we get together, we just talk about God, and we just get deep into it, and like we want to have like revelations and all sorts of stuff. So we're talking to each other and just feeding each other and just talking about so many things that God has given us, and we're there praying and stuff. And what happened to us was that we received the same revelation at the same time, and we were blown away. It was
it in a picture or what?
for me it was in vision.
Okay.
Casper, it was like his brain was being blended with the knowledge, and Matthias he just knew, and we turned like from one character to the other. Like we looked like we took cocaine, because we looked so high of the spirit, but like we look different. We're like, our eyes are opened, shocked. And what I saw was Jesus, right? He looks huge. He's in this huge throne. And then he talks to me, right? And he's like, I call you by name, you're mine. I've made you innocent, blameless. I have done this. And then I saw his heart. Then I saw his hand. And his hand was punching a heart of stone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then this heart of stone shattered into pieces, and then it recreated into a heart of flesh covered in his blood. And then he's like showing me that was my heart in the vision. And then when it was gone, I was shocked. And then Matthias is sharing to me what he experienced at that same time. Then Casper, he got so blown away that he couldn't preach the next day. He said, I can't do it. he was just too.
So we all saw or knew the same thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that we were blameless, you know, and that
okay.
he paid the price. But him personally coming and showing it to us in different ways, but the same message.
Mm-hmm.
Blown away. He couldn't preach. He just needed time to just digest what happened.
Mm.
And the others that were there was like 14 of us that were like, you know, it was a big team for like a huge seminar we're doing. They're looking at us, the three of us, like what did we take? We took some drugs or something, because we looked different. We were glowing and we were like energetic. And then the next, like when we went to preach, we started praying for people. And then when I prayed for this lady, she started speaking in tongues. I didn't know, because she was talking in English. She was just saying, Jesus heals, Jesus heals, Jesus heals, right?
Okay, so her tongue was English.
Yeah, she was
Okay.
saying, Jesus heals. So I'm like, okay, And then when she's done, then she starts speaking in Hungarian to me, and I was like, wait, she just saying Jesus heals. This is the only thing she knows in English. So then I got my translator, and then I told her if she knows what she was saying. She's like, oh no, what did I say? I said, you said Jesus heals in English, right?
Yeah.
And she got shocked. She started crying because she doesn't speak English, right? So then I was like, whoa, you were speaking in tongues. And then the next day she comes and she shared that she had an incurable disease, that God healed her.
While she was praying.
While she was saying Jesus heal.
Wow.
You know. So I was shook, and then we all decided to go to in Hungary there's pockets of gypsies. Gypsy village where there's like cocaine, heroin, where you like, you know, I don't know if you ever experienced or seen people that inject heroin through their veins and then they're high for like the entire day and they don't have any life but that drug. Like they're really like their life is nothing but the drug. They're addicted and they can't do anything. They're like damaged. This village we were going to, in Gypsy village, most if they're not drunk, they're drugged, and mostly are like they're thieves and you know and all. It's dark, so we're going to this Gypsy village, and we're just gonna go with a speaker, a microphone, a guitar, and a cajon, and we're just gonna create attention in the center. We just started preaching and playing music and singing. 14 of us, more or less. People just swarming, coming to us, right? The Holy Spirit sets in, like wind. You could see the wind just going around, like this is like an action movie, and we're there praying for people. We don't know them, but they just started to receive. Little kids falling in the floor, getting knocked out, speaking in tongues. There was this prostitute that came and she got delivered. She was coughing blood because she was super possessed. She got set free and healed. There was this witch. She came, bam! Like she looked like she got knocked out by a punch, but it wasn't a punch. It was the Holy Spirit. She was blind. She received her eyesight, and she gave her life to Jesus right there and then because she was a witch. But she was blind, you know. And there was another lady who was lame. She started walking. And then we're there like just continuously praying for people and like for hours. Then this drug dealer comes to me and he's like, I am my own God. And then God downloads his life into my spirit. And then I started to tell him about his life. You were this, you went through that, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's shocked. He just go into his car scared, drives off. And like things are just happening, and then a whole crew of young people just comes and we start to like prophesy over them, and they're utterly shocked, crying, and like we needed to leave, but like the whole village is trying to keep us, and like we're swarmed, and we're like we have to go, and we went to the bus and we left. And then like everybody went to like different countries after that, but like that was also a really crazy experience there. It was crazy seeing.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We've been in the talk of like doing like some outreaches, you know, like getting like organizing like events.
Absolutely.
Right. For like because
Eastern Europe generally.
Yeah. But like if we were to do it, the first country would be Slovakia, right? And there's like this plan of like teaching different things for like for kids in school, like we could share a little bit of business, Rafa could play a little bit of
basically
football.
Come with the agenda that we are teaching English, because we are gonna like speak in English in the classes, and then we basically can speak whatever we want in a way. So of course you cannot really preach gospel yet, but
but like it's
motivate in other ways.
It will be a good way to build onto that, you know, because then it's like a very like you know, like sports, or you know very like useful knowledge that they could have, you know, maybe like something with cameras or something with, you know, I mentioned business, but there's other things we could like teach the kids that like that's not part of the usual curriculum. And then at the end of the, you know, if it's like a 3 days activity thing, the first day could be one thing, the second day could be another thing, and then the third day, the final day, we could just talk about God, you know, and share them Jesus. And so I think it would be super cool to have like,
It will be.
yeah, right, cool to like do this type of things, and then in the like the third day, you know, do like a prayer or something, you know, share God, you know. It'd be super cool to like, I don't know if you will be up for that at some point. It'll be super cool, you know, to have you along, or to have like other people who are passionate about Christ.
Absolutely.
You know,
I was thinking the same the whole time he's speaking
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we are taking him with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually have a lot of fun with God doing that. I mean, once I can ask off from my job and, you know, my wife prays and says, yeah, you should go. 100%. I'm always willing. That's one thing. I'm always willing. But
Is your wife up for coming as well?
depends. For me, it's like I'm always ready to, like, there was one time, I was gonna do a seminar in Santa Cruz in California, and I asked her to come. When I really am very serious for her to come, she would, but she is more behind the scenes rather than up front.
Mm-hmm.
So she wouldn't necessarily come unless I ask her. So when I went to Santa Cruz, before I was going to that Kickstarter, the devil physically came, and my wife has the pictures and evidence. Took the mirror from the room and put it right next to the door where we would open the door. The mirror was in the floor. I was like, hey, honey, did you put the mirror in the floor? Why would you do that? And then she's like, no, what are you talking about? There's nobody else. And then she comes in. If a mirror falls, you know, there's a lot of knickknacks, you know, like makeup bag, there's deodorant, there's little things on top of the dresser that would fall with it, or the mirror would break. But it was perfectly in the floor. And then there was an orb, a blue orb.
What is orb?
An orb is like neon lights, but look like eyes.
Okay.
Like if you stare at the sun, then you look away. There's like a spot.
Okay. And
Like
that's
a
called
spot,
An
yeah.
orb.
So
Okay.
there was this orb watching us inside of the room, and we were like, "This is so weird." But I started praying, you know, praying, and then in the night there was, you know, the doors were like shaking up. So the enemy didn't want me to go, and my wife is seeing all of these things, and like when we go, people just getting set free, being baptized in water, you know, strangers just coming in and just expectating and then getting saved because of the power of God. They're like shocked, you know.
Let's go.
But usually, like I don't even eat in such events because I'm super serious. I remember I would like fast more than eat, because it's like you're in war with the enemy constantly. He wants to get you constantly. I even slept, and like while in my dream, this is what happened. Like I felt like I was being dragged from my leg by a demon and dragged under the bed, and then I was like, in the name of Jesus, and then I come back out of my sleep, pray, and then go back to sleep again. So like the attacks are insane. You just have to fight. And you just have to fight. The people don't talk about the sides of these things. Like if you go as a superstar, you know, with the Christian world, and you're like just praying for people to get, you know, set free, they don't have the time to explain people how hard it is in the aftermath and before they're gonna like pray and see people getting set free and healed. They don't get the chance to actually, you know, talk about it, because they're most likely in platforms that aren't there to talk about these things. It's super real. Like the attacks are insane, and you just have to be willing to go through them. Definitely. Yeah. but we would have fun. We definitely would have fun.
I believe so.
But every how to put it? Every time you go, it's not the same. It's always different. Right, Kim? Every time we would do something, it would be different. It's like it's not really the same. Like, and you always take something out of it. Like when we went the last time to Poland, like we saw a lot of like, you know, for example, homelessness, people from Ukraine, you know, kids, no house. We were separating rotten food to give the people from Ukraine and homeless people food that would be, you know, edible, which were mixed with food that was expired, vegetables and stuff. We did this, and we also prayed for homeless people, but we did a lot of home fellowships, and we like just relaxed and hang out with, you know, friends that we know there. But it's different from time to time.
Oh man, can you tell them that when you guys walked during the winter from like you guys started in Latvia, right, and went
that's crazy.
And then we can wrap it up with that, and then maybe that can be a second part. I think it's a really cool story to share.
Man, that's crazy.
I'm ready.
Okay, you ready? All right. So, Kasper and I, we were in Latvia. We fasted 7 days, no water, no food. 7 days. And then on the 7th day, we got the green light to go. We have no money. We always are in the situation where we run out of money. As like not having we didn't have a base where they would give us a salary. As a missionary, I didn't have that. We didn't have anybody that was supporting us monthly. We didn't have any security. So we would just live off the miracle working power of God giving us what we would need from day to day in that way. So we had no money, but God spoke to us to go to Poland. And then we were like, all right, we're going to have to walk, but we don't have even food to eat. So we went to his sister. His sister lives in Latvia for some food. So then we ate a little bit, not too much because we just got out of a 7-day fast. A little bit and drank. And we just started walking. And wait, this is not summer. This is winter. Snow. Like one of the most horrible winters. It was in Latvia, it was 30 degrees minus.
No.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I had a little suitcase. Walking. Right? I had a Eskimo hat, boots on, gloves, jacket, walking and just in the middle, like in the street, just walking with this little suitcase, and then Kaspars with a big old backpack, right? 4 hours in, walking, you know, we're still in Latvia, yeah, and we're just talking. Snow is hitting us. We're feeling it a little bit, and I'm like starting to like, yo. I want to throw the suitcase to the side, you know. I want to leave it there, but I can't. A guy stops for us in the highway. We're walking in the highway, bro, and no police, nothing is stopping us. A guy stops, and we go into his car. That's the first car. He talks to us. We talk about Jesus and what we're doing. That's the first car. Another car stops for us. Then another car stopped for us. Then another car until the 7th car. We're in Lithuania. The last car, he is not a believer, but he asked us if he can bring us to his house. He's driving a BMW. We're in Lithuania, and that's the first day, right? If we're walking without any help, nothing, it would take more than 2 months from Latvia to Poland. Talking about more than 2,000 miles. I think. Yeah, it's like almost 3,000 miles. So this dude, you know, invited us to his house. He's like, I've never done this. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I never did this in my life. And we're like, is God. And we pray for him, you know. And like he has like, you know, different statues in the house, and you know, we're just there for him. So he got a air mattress for us. He puts this air mattress, and the next day he, you know, gives us breakfast, and he drops us off in a gas station. We gotta continue walking. We continue walking.
But what's the goal? Like,
We're gonna go to Poland.
okay,
That's the goal.
okay.
That's the goal. That's where we gotta go. And then from there, we were thinking to go to Denmark afterwards. So, and second day, 6 car stop for us. The first day was 7. Second day, six car stop. One of them gave us money just enough for us to eat. Another bought us food, you know. And then we met this dude. He was like a gangster, right? And then he said, "Hey, I know a pastor. I'm gonna hook you up," you know, because he's like, you know, gangsters help gangsters, and they have a code like, yeah, like let's help each other. So he thought like Christians have the same type of deal. So then when we talked to this pastor dude what we're doing, he didn't even message us back, came for us, nothing. The gangster guy already left. He probably thought like we're gonna have, you know, this believer.
You're taken care of.
We're taken care of. He's coming for us, and he's gonna like host us and give us a place to sleep. Nothing, right? We're like, damn, what are we gonna do now? This was the 6th car we reached in Poland, by the way, but not into the exact area where we need to go. Was the entrance of Poland. And we were like, let's just look around and see what we're gonna do. It's snowing, it's dark. You literally want to die. You just want, like, there's so many points where you're so cold. You just want to throw everything, and but you can't. You just gotta push, because you got no money, you don't have no place to stay, you got no friends. What you gonna do? Just freeze to death and don't do nothing about it? So you're against the wall. You have to put yourself out there and in the line. So we had an idea. We're like, oh, let's take a walk in the mall and see what we can do. We walk in the mall. There's nothing going on. And then I had the idea, we can go to a church and sleep there, and then start walking the next day. And he's like, yeah. So we go to a church where there is this Catholic priest, and he's speaking in Polish to us, and we're speaking in English. We don't understand each other, but we want to sleep in his church, right? He just gives us 200 Polish money.
Mm-hmm.
A Catholic priest. We don't understand him. He doesn't understand us. We took the money and we're like, thank you, sir. It was weird, but praise the Lord, right? And then we're like, all right, let's get out of here. We got some money. We can actually buy a train ticket. We can continue going. We don't need to sleep in the church here. So we thank him and we left. We go and walk until we found a train station. We have we saw a ticket, but the only ticket was at 6 a.m, 11-hour train ticket, all the way to the final destination. And we were like against the wall again, because we need to have a place to sleep. We can't stay outside in the freezing cold, below 30 degrees, minus 30 degrees. We can't bear it. The snow is like about 6 inches high, in the floor. So we can't sit anywhere. And the mall is closing, so we can't sleep inside the mall. So we looked at every single angle, and the only option we had was to spend the money on a hostel, or to see the other option to keep that money to buy the train tickets for 6 a.m. We were like, let's continue walking, and maybe we might find not a different church that we could actually sleep in, because we thought we could get a train ticket, right? So we saw a cathedral, a Catholic cathedral church, and we're like, let's go in there and sleep, you know. We go there and we met this priest called Tony. I could never forget his name. Why? Because Tony was on the phone while we go to him and tell him that we're missionaries and we want to sleep over for the night and get a train the next day. And he's like, go the opposite road. There is a school for priests. Tell them Tony sent you from the cathedral. So we go to this we go to this Catholic priest school, right? And we're surrounded by like 30 Catholic priests with black dresses on, you know. And these guys come and they're like, where you from? Oh, we're missionaries. Tony sent us. What do you do? Oh, we're Christians. You know, we didn't say we're Catholics. We're being honest. Mm. And then Kaspars, he said, all of you are blind. And they welcome us in, right? They have that day they have a special event on a certain saint called Saint Patrick, and this kind of event is like they have a table full of all kind of different meat and all kind of different food, right? And then they told us, take whatever you want, and like we're just alone in this huge table, and the priests, 30 priests, just standing up looking at Kaspar. Now we haven't eaten right, like proper for 2 days, right? This is the second night, and we're like and we remember we had a 7-day fast. Mm. So we're looking at all of this food, right? And we're like, munch, gobble, gobble. And they're like watching us like they're watching savages eating, right? And then Kaspar with food in his mouth, he's like, you guys don't know, you don't understand. And like we don't care. We've been through some things, so we don't care. We just know that
you're just wilding.
We're in God's hand, because this doesn't happen. Yeah. They ask us for our passports just for security reasons, right? Because they want to make sure that, like, if anything happens, you know. Yeah, sure, we give them our passport info. You know, the bishop comes, and then he's like, all right, we prepared a room for you guys. You have Dove soap, so you can take a shower. You have brand new towels, and you also have tea and cookies in the room. And we're like, let's go, you know what I mean? And
he's like, thank you, Tony, for sending it.
Tony was awesome, man. And then all of these priests are coming to us to question us and say, hey guys,
like about theology or
yeah.
Nice.
And then we study philosophy and theology here. What do you guys do as missionaries? And then we started to share Holy Spirit stuff.
Come on.
You know, we started to share, you know, like miracles, healings, experiences, our way onto the cathedral, to the school where all of them are. 30 priests, one by one, started disappearing.
Like moving the
just leaving the room to their bedroom, right?
Okay.
One priest stayed, and he was like, hey guys, I'll direct you to your room. We saw a smoking lounge. There's priests smoking. And me and Kaspar look at each other. We're like, do you know when you know that the religion doesn't save you? Like when you know like a system doesn't save you, Jesus saves you. But when you are actually in the system and you see sin, like in that caliber, like priests, Catholic priests, smoking cigarettes in their lounge, where it's prohibited for a regular person to come in and see them, and they don't even know that. We're like, whoa. So this priest is directing us to the room, and we're there with him. He's like, oh guys, I want you to have this. He takes out the picture of Pope Francis and a picture of Mary. You guys have to have this. It's for you. And then we're like, oh no, sorry, we don't do that. we don't pray like that. We pray to Jesus. If we take it from you, we're gonna throw it away the next day.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we said. We I'm telling you, we don't care, right? Like we get thrown out, nothing. And he's like, guys, I don't know what I should do because I love God, and the only thing that I know, and the only thing that Polish people do here is become Catholic priests. I want to have kids, but as a Catholic priest, you're not allowed. You're banned from having a family.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do. Pray for me. So we pray for this Catholic priest, right? And he started to manifest.
Like demonic
Sweat and like you know, shaking a bit, you know, and like then poof, we saw the freedom, and then he was super happy, right? And then like he leaves the room, and Kaspar and I are looking at each other like,
let's go.
Yo, we were like on fire, right? The next morning, we got to take the train. We wake up at about 4:00 in the morning. The priest has 2 bags of goodies because we told him we have an 11-hour train to take. He gave us 2 bags of goodies for the train, so we have food for the 11 hours straight, right? And like he was super happy, and I hope someday I ever meet him or something. But that was awesome. And then we went to the trains. That was also pretty fun because for 11 hours there was always, every 2 hours there was like new people that were coming into our area, and we were preaching to new people like every 2 hours. Like people that would sit next to us or around us would be preaching and talking about the gospel and stuff, and the whole way through. When we arrived to the last destination was a Radek's house. A friend of ours in Poland. You know, we had no money, but look what happened. God just brought us through. And because we actually trusted in him and we went, even though we didn't have anything to fall onto, we started preaching in churches in Poland. Because when I go to Poland, there's always something for me to do. There's always, you know, churches for me to preach in. There's always something going on. Man, this old lady, I never do offerings. I never like collect money or ask for anything. So this old lady, she goes around and collect offerings for Kaspar and I, and then she gives us, like have you seen in the movies where you get a black bag full of cash? This happened to us. We got a black bag full of cash from the church. So we took all of this cash and we just gave it to our host so he could convert it and send it to our account. And
tax-free money.
Tax-free money. It was a gift. So so we were like, okay, we're going to Denmark. This is our final destination. And guess what? We found a flight. It was €2 per flight. No tax.
€2.
€2. We bought 2 flight tickets.
I think Rafa needs to find one of those
you
flights.
You can message Kaspars today and he'd be like, yeah. Which is impossible because even the taxes are like, you know, €10 to €15 to Denmark even, you know, from and so we were like, what? So we bought the tickets. We got on the flight.
Can you remember the company that flew?
No, I can't. Maybe Wizz Air, maybe Wizz Air or you know, Ryanair or something. I don't remember, but when we arrived to Denmark, all of the things stopped. Everything just became expensive.
Yeah, right.
But we were in a hub. We were like we were in a place where we would have shelter and food. But yeah, that was a wild thing, man. Because you don't know, you could freeze to death. There was one time we ended up walking in a highway where there was just a desert of snow. There was no homes, no cars, and we walked for like 3 hours. Imagine all the things that goes into your head for 3 hours in a desert of snow. The only thing you have to follow the road is the track, the road track. And nothing else. For 3 hours, just think about the things that goes into your head for all that time. And you just continue going. Man, like, it was not easy. It was rough. But we managed. So after that, like, also after so many experiences, like, there's nothing that you cannot do. Literally nothing. You can do anything. It just depends on the people you're with that would be on board. And God is backing you up, you know. Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
Omal, it has been an honor to have you here.
No, thank you, man.
Yeah. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. You have done it before. Can you wrap this up for us?
Thank you, guys. So we're wrapping it up then. And that's the end.
See you in the next one.
Yes, see you in the next one. Thank you for your attention, all of you guys that choose to watch this. I hope this was blessing for you. I hope, Rafa is wrapping it up.
No, it's fine. Thank you for staying to the end, you know. God bless you guys. See you soon.
Ciao, ciao.
Grow your brand with digital ad campaigns and social media content. We are a creative team that specializes on video communication, brand strategy, and productions. Sign up for a free business checkup meeting and speak to us for valuable advice and for the opportunity to partner with us.